Okay. Hi. I know it's been a very long time since I have made a video, and I've been out and about, and I've been working, I've been schooling, and I've been taking care of my kids, and I just haven't had much of a time to actually sit down and make my videos again. For those who knows me, welcome back. And those who don't know me, I'm Thrillerly2K, and I like to make videos, you know, mostly just theory videos, basically what if videos, you know, just an idea of what we're maybe looking into, maybe get an idea of what these games might be. So for those of you who are following on my TikTok account, I had posted videos of my what ifs with Poppy Playtime, and I know I got a lot of views, likes, and it gives me the encouragement to continue doing more. We're gonna get into it because I don't know if you guys have seen yesterday that Mob Entertainment had posted a picture of a really Christmas holiday theme picture, and also been posted on X as well. And from what we know, there has been some hidden meanings in the picture, and I actually had taken the time to look into the picture, point out, get the obvious ones that were in the picture, and I think it was quite interesting too of what I think what I think the meanings behind the artifacts in the picture from Mob Entertainment. I'm gonna get into the big thing, and that big thing is something interesting, and I'm not sure if it might lead on to like a release date or something else. So one of the artifacts that I found in the picture was the symbols in the picture frame, like these 4 symbols in the picture frame. And we all know that has to have a meaning, that has to give us something. So I was able to look it up, do some deep research, and trying to figure out what symbols, what hieroglyphs it might relate to. So the closest one I can find was called the Elder Forthark alphabet. That gives that close resemblance to the symbols in the picture frame. And with that being said, the Elder Forthark alphabet gives us these letters from the symbols. And of course, the first symbol in the picture, that would actually represent the letter O. Now the next one, of course, it does look like the letter B in the picture frame, and it is the letter B, which is very obvious, but that is the letter B. And then the next symbol that looks like a little up, and so that one is T. And then the last one with the three lines going out, that one will represent Z. So we got O, B, T, and Z. So I wrote this down and I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not going anywhere with this. But of course, you can do more deciphering and decipher from letters to numbers. So I did that, and according to the deciphering we got from letters to convert the letters to the numbers, we got these numbers: 15 to 20, 26. So what does that mean? 15 to 20, 26. So I'm getting a little bit of we all know where this is going. I know where this is going. So I'm thinking the 15 would probably represent something with Poppy Playtime Chapter 5. And what if the date has something to do with 2/20/26, which is February 20th, 2026. Now, I don't know if this might be a release date or it could be another trailer. But what if that is an actual realistic date that we are expecting? So the next artifact that I found in the picture was the big picture next to the symbols, which I already have talked about, which has a soldier that's lying on his stomach, bleeding, with a lot of swords in its back. And of course, we all know that that's pretty much a powerful image that represents being stabbed in the back. And of course, that symbolizes to that betrayal and the immense suffering that were put through, the treacherous acts of disloyalty and betrayal of trust, and doing something hurtful behind our back. So that has me wondering, and this is my question, like, what if theory, you know? I know, like, I have seen some videos, some comments from other people's stuff about, like, what if this is the chapter where the character gets betrayed, or this is the one and only, like, we're betrayed, but we already have been betrayed, you know? We've been betrayed since the beginning of Poppy Playtime. We've been going ahead and being betrayed by Poppy, you know, because of course she has us doing these things for her, and she did betray us in the end whenever she found out that Ollie was the prototype. So she just stabbed us in the back, leaving us alone. So that's another idea of what I think. And the other thing is that not only we have been betrayed, but Poppy has been betrayed too. Because if you have known from chapter 4, she's been betrayed too, because she thought Ollie was a boy all this time, but really it was the prototype. So yes, she has been stabbed in the back too, because all this time she was doing things by Ollie's request, but the whole time it was the prototype tricking her. It was the whole prototype telling her these things, and that's definitely a betrayal of trust. That's definitely a good example of stab in the back. So I'm thinking, like, what if this whole chapter 5 is kind of like a central theme of focusing on who can we trust and who can we not trust, and this will be the chapter, because I think this is the final chapter too, but we finally get to see how our characters shift, and their ways of behavior and their ways of decision making. So we get to see that shift. So I think that was what was giving us a hint about that artifact. Now the next one, a big thing, is in the wall. There is a picture of a girl dressed in a jester costume, carrying a bundle with a crescent moon shaped and holding a poppy flower. Now, as we all know, that of course this can represent Poppy, you know, because of course this chapter 5, this final episode, is all going to be focusing on Poppy, as we have seen in the trailer so far. And as we all know, like, what does it have to do with this whole dressing up as the jester and standing outside of Playtime Co-Factory? Well, as we all have known, like, these female jesters, because that is a female jester, she's a girl jester, for the longest, for centuries, for years, they have been known for their sharp intelligence. They've been known for the truth telling, like, they tell the truth, authority over power, you know. Serving for, they also have been using trickeries and dishonesty and cunning ways of, for amusement, for whoever they're you know, performing for or being around, such as like jesters who are doing amusement for the kings and queens back then, you know. So that's what I'm collecting as I'm looking at the picture. The other thing is, of course, we see the costume, the motley and the bells. Well, as we all know, that motley and bells and jesters are a symbol of detachment from norms, which is the expected rules and behaviors, you know. And also the clothing type, you know. Some clothing types use, I think, what we like to call like a foxtail. But in these clothes, of course, they do symbolize the trickery and cunning that they are to design to be, you know, to play the role. And using that disguise to not only challenge the norms, but to go into like tricking others and putting on jokes and a show, like, oh, you know. So that's what I was getting from the jester costume. And also, we know that she's this just female jester, this girl jester, she's holding a bindle. Now, we all know what a bindle is. If you don't know what a bindle is just a long stick that balances your belongings, you know. It's just a long stick that balances your belongings. And this is normally what you see. This is what you normally see in like shows or movies where there are people running away and they're carrying like a long stick with belongings tied in a cloth or any kind of blanket or any kind of cloth fabric they can get their hands on. And of course, with the bindle, that in kind of like a spiritual symbolic side, we know that bindle can represent the freedom and the desperation to get out of there, you know. Also for what am I getting from what I was just talking about, but the bindle and the jester costume? Well, I'm thinking, what if this is a hint into chapter 5 of what we might get to learn more about Poppy, you know, and the trickeries and the ways she had to use towards everyone, even the main character, for her own freedom, for her own ways to get out of Playtime Co-Factory, or just to have freedom for everyone who's been trapped, like the kids. Of course, we know that Poppy might have been like rebellious, probably, and had challenged the norms of what she is expected to do and be, and as the doll that she is. But of course, with the amounts of suffering that she has been put through, being experimented on, we can definitely tell like this was her breaking point, you know. So this in the picture definitely will give us a brief hint at, we're going to be definitely getting into learning more about Poppy, and maybe perhaps how did she became who she was, and to really know if she is being truthful or if she's going to have another way to stab us in the back again, you know. So we at this point, like, we don't really know. I don't know for sure, but at this moment I really don't like her. So the other thing that you guys have seen, and so the other things that you guys have seen in the picture was, of course, in the far right corner, we've got lilies, you know, and the purple lilies. And of course, we do know that in the trailer of chapter 5, we have actually seen a hint of what this new character is. And if I'm not correct, she is called Lily Lovebraid. If I'm not correct, I think that's the new one of the new characters' names is Lily Lovebraid. Now, some say that she might be an enemy. Who knows? Whether she might be an enemy, an experiment we have to defeat, or probably not. Or if we know, she's probably just another character kind of in a similar situation as Dobie, you know? Turned out to be a good character, but then in the end lost control and, you know. Comes after us. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because, of course, purple lilies, and I love purple lilies. Purple lilies are beautiful, but I did not know that purple lilies had more of a symbolic, spiritual kind of meaning. So most of these artifacts has been more spiritual, symbolic, and which I love to get into, because I'm always getting into stuff like this all the time. So of course we know that purple lilies symbolizes royalty and admiration and really good positive traits, you know, that spiritual wisdom kind of symbolism. And it also represents, according to what I have researched, the transformation of one's spirit into a more royal prominent position, like for example being promoted at work or taking a new role in life. So of course, and this is my what if theory, what if Lily is, like I said, we don't know if she is a character we have to face, or just some kind of maybe help for us. And I'm gonna get into why actually in a bit though, of what I think, because like I said, I don't know. It's I mean, I thought Dobie was very helpful in chapter 4 until in the end, you know, he let the anger get to the best of him and came after us. So but what if Lily is a character, like someone that was once human that we knew of and we already know, and was just, you know, was transferred into this kind of experiment, this toy, you know, and if whether or not she's going to be a bad character, a bad experiment in the chapter, or is she going to be a good character like Dobie had, but eventually comes after us and, you know, kills us. But that's what I think so far. We don't know much about Lily Lovebraid. All I know is that she could be either a good person, a good experiment character, or a bad one. So who knows? But we do also know that there might be some kind of like technology star that I found in the Yule video, and which I'm going to get into in another video very soon about what I have found and what I think. But we also do have that one that gives us the guidance, and that's what I'm going to get into actually, into the smaller artifacts I found in the picture. One of them is why there's so many orange slices in the picture, all I kept seeing was orange slices, like on the mantle and in the tree, and the characters are making them as ornaments to hang them on the tree. We've seen them in the window, you know. So what is with these oranges, these orange slices that we keep seeing, you know? And that's when I found out, like, this could be another artifact. This could be another meaning of what we're going to be getting into in chapter 5, because as we all know, oranges are a type of citrus fruit. And the fruits of oranges and other citrus fruits are incorporated into nature's spiritual practice of cleansing and healing and renewal. Because citrus fruits are in the fall and winter seasons, as we saw in the picture. There were orange slices put up in the holidays, which is the winter season, you know. And also is a representative of the summer solstice and the winter solstice, the Yule and the Linthia. I think I said that correctly. And as we know, and as some of you may not know, the elements of these citrus fruits are water and fire. Fire, hint, hint. We saw that in the trailers of fire after fire after fire after fire after fire. Okay. And of course, for these spiritual practices, they would hang orange slices in the tree, or they would decorate their rooms with fresh oranges, you know, because this represents joy and happiness, purification, and success. But also I found out that the fruit of oranges can also mean danger and superficiality, which means things that seem important but aren't. A lack of depth perception. So what does this all mean for us? What can we see in chapter 5? And as we all know, I think that in chapter 5, and I think this is the final chapter too, that the fate of us as the main character lies whether it would end maybe joyfully or in a success. But we know that we are going to go into danger. Like, it's going to become even more difficult. It's going to be a lot of obstacles, and we have to be careful when we're looking at something that seems important but it's not important. Maybe we need to look deeper in something. Maybe something is missing and we need to get to the bottom of it. Because I think something is missing, because whether or not, are there going to be kids down, are there going to be really kids sleep down where the prototype lives, you know? There's a lot of questions that we all have in our head. Like, is this actually going to be the end? Is this what, if Poppy says what she said, is it true or not? So, like I said, it might end in success, but of course, we are going to be going into danger, so we need to be aware of ourselves and and be careful of what we're seeing and whether it's important and it's not important, you know? So that's what I think I was getting from these orange slices, these artifacts. Last but not least, I love this, but this was the crescent moon and stars in certain areas in the room. And as you can see, like there were stars on the tree. There were stars on the hanging decoration where the orange slices and the bells were in the middle of it. And we also see a crescent moon on the bindle in the picture of the girl jester, which we thought is Poppy. Now, yes, as we all know, stars and the moon and stars can mean like dreams and hope and the light and darkness, you know. So maybe it's giving kind of us of a hint of what we are hoping to have. Like there's somebody that is going to help us along the way, guiding us, which of course stars and moons mean guidance and hope. And also, as I was saying with Lily Lovebraid, as you all have seen in the trailer, she has stars on both, like in the leg, knee area of her. Now, that could indicate that, like I said, she might just be a good character and she's going to lead us and help us. And maybe in the end, of course, she might go bad, or she could just be a bad character in general. So we don't know. But that's what I was getting from these artifacts. And that's all I have to really say. So, and also, there is one thing that I could not figure out for the longest, because I have adjusted this picture, but I don't know what am I getting from this. So I'm going to look deeper into this picture, but I'm going to show you guys the picture first of what I'm talking about. Now that could mean that, I mean, it looks like a person. The problem is, who? So if you guys would like to help me out with this, you guys can give me some thoughts and what you think this might be. But I'm going to continue to look deeper into this. And I'm also going to be focusing on uploading my video on the Yule log, because I think that one is very interesting. So yeah, tune in. Thank you guys. Like and subscribe. This is my first video I made on my YouTube channel, and I hope you guys enjoy yourself. Thank you.